Hi gamers, welcome back to homosexuals. More importantly, not more importantly, but more accurately, lesbians. Yay! We love lesbians. Yes, sir. And if you don't, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing here? The fuck? This whole thing's about lesbians. I mean, not lesbians. This whole thing's homosexual. So if you don't like that, get your ass out of here. But hi, everyone. It's been a week since I last saw you, and I missed you. And I'm sorry for lack of videos. I promise tonight, maybe I post. Can't stay long, but wanted to say hello to my favorite wife. Thank you. Hello, my favorite wife. Wait, there's others? There's other wives? We're gonna need to talk. Because you know I'm the possessive type. Ah! Anyways, I say this every time I play any game. I don't remember what happened last time. You are only wife. Okay. I think she's using words. Wait, obviously she's using words. What am I trying to say? I'm confused, but okay. Frolics in my field of flowers. Okay, wife, whatever you say. Last time, I crashed out for half of the stream because I did the same thing as last time. But this time, everything's okay. Why is the... I'm changed screens, but it's not changing on the stream. What the fuck? Don't worry, I don't even know what's happening. You and me both, pal, because why the fuck? I'm literally in the game, and it's still on the start. What is happening? What is going on? Aha. Look at me go. I am technology. Puts up glasses. I'm kind of smart. I don't know what I did. I had to do capture to OBS. I probably should have done that. So if this breaks, it's not my fault. It's Prim's fault. Even though I didn't do anything. Okay, yeah. Now we're looking in the past of when our two favorite lesbians from this visual novel first met. One of them, who's named Dale, I'm introducing for the new people, Pilsons. Oh, wait. What? I say with all love. I forgot to put my charger in. Hold on. Not charger for my phone, charger for camera. Because camera, if not charge for camera, then then you won't be able to see my face. Well, you don't see my face, so then you won't be able to witness my terrible tracking. Hoi. Hoi. I'm gonna tell you something funny, actually. Sorry, I'm just coming out from under my table, and I'm gay. I still use an adapter for because I have North American stuff, because I got my camera in North America. But I'm using an EU adapter still for my camera, instead of, like, changing the cord. Anyways, that was random. That's why I needed to grab my adapter. Hi, first stream, by the way. Welcome to first stream. I'm not having technical issues. Oh, I'm fucking exhausted. Okay, backstory. This character is the main character, Jesus. She has a roommate, Dale, and they're detective investigator forces people for the people. There is no men in this world. All of them are women. And anyways, so we're getting a backstory on how the two of them met. They're probably gonna be lesbians. No, they are lesbians. What I'm saying, everybody's lesbians. They are already close. We haven't seen them kiss yet, but we're close, I think. I'm close, at least. And we're looking at the backstory of when they first met, so when they're children. And Dale, the other girl, not this one, why am I out of breath? What the fuck? And she was found in, like, the woods or whatever, so she was, like, homeless. I don't know. We're just figuring it out. And then this girl, she's, like, I don't know, royal or something. Look at her fucking house. Took her in, and Oh yeah, and then they have powers, except she... Actually, I don't remember. Oh, her power, Jesus' power, is when she touches somebody, she takes away their power. And then Dale's power... Anyways, we'll see more as we're getting into it. Lesbians, yay. Everyone's lesbians here, and we love that. Okay, the girl woke up. I pressed the wrong thing! The moment she heard the news, Jesus ran toward the guest's room, barefoot, not even stopping to put on her shoes. I pressed the wrong button again. I pressed the wrong button again. The two guards posted outside the guest room lay collapsed on the floor. What? Violent coughs racked their bodies. Each ragged breath brought up blood, as if they were only moments from death. Shocked by the sight, Jesus rushed to one of them. Is anyone there? Hold on, the others will be here soon. Just hang in there. After hurriedly entrusting the guards to the attendants who arrived in a panic, Jesus moved towards the room. The thoughts that an intruder might have harmed the girl made her vision flash white with fear.
Oh, look at the little gremlin. Oh my god, she's so cute.
Thankfully, the girl was unharmed. Relief left Jesus in a long breath when she saw the girl sitting upright in bed. It lasted only a heartbeat. Son of a bitch that my stupid ass reading. A scream, sharp as a blade, tore through the room. Where is she? The girl's slender throat strained as she shouted, her voice raw with desperation and fury. Wait, who said that? Was it this girl or somebody else? She looked less like a child and more like a wild animal cornered by its enemy, every muscle drawn tight. I thought it was somebody else. That's why I gave such a deep voice. I'm sorry. Save me! Go! Only then did Jesus notice the physician collapse beside the bed, clutching weakly at the sheets, gasping in pain. Her condition mirrored the guards outside. Psychic ability. Is she the one who did this? Her hands trembled, terror clawing at her, but Jesus forced herself to step closer to the girl, who was still panting heavily. It's okay. You only murdered my guards. It's whatever. Her voice wavered faintly, yet she spoke with a gentle tone. No one will hurt you. As the words left her lips, an unexpected calm settled over her mind, like ripples fading in the water. The girl's gaze snapped back at Jesus. The screaming stopped as abruptly as someone had cut a switch. Her wild, shadowed eyes locked onto Jesus. Lady Jesus, are you alright?
Hi, Primrose. Got to know you if you my gosh, life.
You're welcome. At that moment, several attendants rushed breathlessly into the room, but before any of them could make a move, the girl sprang forward with a startling speed and planted herself between Jesus and the others. Who's saying this? Her? Who's saying this? Who's saying this? Is it her? Stay away from her! That was terrible. Anyways, with her small, fragile body, she spread her arms wide, shielding Jesus. It was just like a mother standing protectively before her young. Why is she protecting Jesus? This is her house. From the moment on, the girl remained fiercely guarded, openly hostile towards everyone except Jesus. With no other choice, Jesus decided to care for her personally, tending her wounds until they healed, without allowing anyone else near. When I think back to how she looked the first day, her body covered in injuries. Translation's kind of weird. Her body was covered in injuries. It wasn't hard to understand her distrust, or her quickness to lash out. However, if they were to live together, things couldn't remain this way. So Jesus began teaching her the ethics she had learned at the study hall. After several small lessons held in her room, the girl's violent outbursts gradually began to ease, as she lowered her guard and adjusted to daily life. Jesus finally asked the question she had been holding back. I just realized I don't even know your name. What's your name? The girl shook her head softly. She couldn't recall her name, nor where she came from, nor even who her mother was. Yet there was no sorrow in her eyes. Perhaps that was natural, she had no memories to mourn. Still, it pained Jesus to witness that indifferent expression, and she quietly lowered her head. Though the girl seemed unconcerned about her own past, she reacted to even the slightest change in Jesus' emotions. Just like when Jesus first held her hand, she gently overlapped her warmth once more. A mild heat slowly seeped upward through Jesus' wrist, following steadily inward to her warm heart. to warm her heart. Well, we can't keep calling you Hey You forever. How about we come up with a name for you?
What? I can't believe this.
I want you to name me. Among the 7 blessings bestowed by the sun god Ren, a name is said to be inseparably tied to the essence of existence. Scripture teaches that as long as a person's name is spoken, she continues to exist. For that reason, people everywhere treated naming with care, but nowhere more than in Bastet. There, it was believed a child's destiny was shaped by her Ren. Her name. I'm following. So much so that Ren houses existed, establishments devoted entirely to crafting names designed to guide a child's future and fortune. Does this mean everybody has a unique name? Because that's a lot of names. Goodness gracious me. I wonder what her canon voice sounds. Probably Korean, if I'm going to be honest. That does not help with voice at all, but it's Korean. I can tell you that. If Hesu had taken the girl to one, she could have chosen a grand, fate-bound name with ease. But Hesu wanted, more than anything, to honor the girl's wish and gift her a name herself. From that day on, Hesu devoured every book she could find, naming to guide fortune, beginner's guide to crafting a Ren, trendiest Ren of the year. Yet no matter how much she searched, nothing felt right. The garden, painted with vivid crimson azaleas, swayed delicately. Can I speak, please? Rustling with each passing breeze, walking among the blossoms with the girl, where Hesu had once walked alone, became a treasured part of their day. I pressed the wrong button. She reached out and cradled a single flower in her palm. This is where I first met her. Azaleas grew throughout Bastet, valued not only for their beauty, but for their uses in daily life. During festivals, people made flower pancakes from their petals. In ordinary days, the petals were steeped into medicinal tea. Though Hesu was sturdy now, she had suffered terribly from asthma as a child. Oh my god, me too, except I suffered from asthma until, last year. I mean, I still have it. It's just not as bad. I might go soon to watch you until, but I'm still staying for now. I would appreciate it, thank you. But I totally understand. Except I don't. You're supposed to stay here. And if you're not staying here, you're supposed to go watch my videos. I'm kidding. My fake friend has asthma. Does that mean your imaginary friend, pal? To care for her daughter, her mother had planted this azalea garden and prepared honeyed tea from its petals every morning, serving it to herself. To Hesu, this garden was alive with her mother's love. That was why she tended it herself, never leaving it to servants. Looking at the girl who had once thrown herself forward to protect her, Hesu saw the same fierce devotion that had shone in her mother's eyes. About your Ren, her voice trembled, though she couldn't stop the smile forming on her lips. How about Dale? My beautiful girl. Dale, the Bastet word for azalea, took the flower Hesu offered, her bright eyes meeting with Hesu's uncertain gaze. Hesu watched as joy gradually blossomed in those brilliant eyes. If that's the name you're giving me, I'll love it, no matter what. The happiness shining in Dale's golden eyes were spread across her face like a full moon. Reflected in that perfect, unbroken glow was Hesu's own delighted expression. Can we see Dale's cool expression, not just Hesu, please? Dale. Yes! Wow, that was terrible. Yes! Woohoo! Yippee! They called to each other again and again, as if playing a game neither wanted to end. Azaleas closely resemble the poisonous mountain laurel, and children in Bastet are taught from a young age how to tell them apart. Remembering the day they first met, Hesu wished with all her heart that Dale, blessed with such great power, would grow into an azalea, not a mountain laurel. Beautiful. Beautiful. I shed a tear. A tear, I say. A tear. As soon as the summit concluded, Khalifa, the king of Tefnut, was promptly escorted to the guest chamber arranged by the prophet. To those who haven't seen the other streams, despite, you know, even if it says king, whatever, they're all still women. It's a woman king. And we love it. The Eclipse agent bowed respectfully to Khalifa, then exited the chamber. Through the wide glass windows, a magnificent panoramic view of the solar city unfolded below. Oh yeah, so it's like a murder mystery, kind of, like who was killing the poor people? Or something. It was a lavish place, certainly luxurious enough to accommodate royalty. Not bad! At that moment, one of Khalifa's loyal subordinates emerged silently from the shadows. My Sultan? Update on... Who's speaking? Update on Aben. Stay... Fuck me and they fucking ass! Update on Aben's status. Aben, head of the city of Chella, one of the... 3 great families that governed Tefnut. Oh my god. Why am I struggling? As a direct descendant of the noble bloodline of Tefnut's first sovereign, she remained ever poised to contest Khalifa for the Sultan's throne. Over the past decade, under the banner of Claudia, I've been talking about that, had expanded her enterprises, steadily building an influence that loomed over Khalifa's reign. Yet no matter how immense Aben's wealth became, she could not I need a moment to drink water or something. I don't know why I'm suffering so much with talking. And I like to formally apologize why I'm talking like this. I promise this doesn't happen all the time. She could not surpass Khalifa's power. Foremost among the reasons was Khalifa's deep-rooted dominion over the city of Perus, the sole oasis within Tefnut's barren expanse, revered as a city blessed by La herself. Perus had long served as the political, economic, and cultural heart of Tefnut. Another critical reason for Aben's disadvantage was the loss of her greatest asset, her own daughter, Adora, who had sworn allegiance to Eclipse. In Tefnut, a water wielder carried profound symbolic and practical significance, not only because the first king had wielded the power of water, but also because, in Tefnut's harsh and unforgiving terrain, water meant survival itself. Yet, as they had somehow incurred Ra's wrath, Ra? I would like it raw. Sorry. Tefnut suffered an unprecedented calamity, a long span of centuries during which not a single water wielder was born. Don't drink my cat, his name is Water. I'm gonna drink your cat despite being allergic. Because I can, actually. Also, I have an excuse for why I'm mispronouncing everything, okay? I'm learning a new language. It's hard. Tefnut suffered an unprecedented calamity, a long span of centuries during which not a single water wielder was born. I just read that. Tefnutians referred to this devastating era simply as the drought. Finally, after these long barren centuries, a wielder of water was at last born in Tefnut. None other than Adora, Aben's daughter. This time, Khalifa foresaw a ruthless and bloody civil war, inevitable as Aben stood poised to seize power with Adora at her side. Yet, Aben made a grave and irresponsible error. She allowed Adora to slip through her fingers into the hands of the sun. Thus, her perfect opportunity to usurp the throne vanished, like the precious water sinking helplessly into the desert sand. Even so, Aben will never abandon her ambitions. If she intends to make another play for the Sultan's throne, Khalifa judged that now, amid the nation's turmoil, would be the perfect moment. We investigated the properties Lady Aben acquired across several countries. Every single one has been repurposed. Fuck me in the ass. Every single one has been repurposed as a research facility. A research facility. Khalifa's brow furrowed slightly at the unexpected word. A bizarre move for someone behaving so suspiciously. Instead of amassing private soldiers for a coup, she was gathering scientists. Propping her chin in one hand, Khalifa let her voice slip out, low and husky. Oh. Her devoted subordinate, still kneeling, waited in silence for her words to fade before daring to speak. The research is being conducted under a veil of absolute secrecy, thought to clandestine, to be within Claudia's usual scope of affairs. Okay, hold on. Google, tell me the answer to this word. Clandestine. I spelled it wrong. Clandestine. Clandestine? Kept it secret or done secretly. Let's hear what Google says how pronounce.
Clandestine.
Clandestine. I was wrong. Entirely. I thought because there was an E! I thought because there was an E, there would be a different pronunciation! Anyways. Hi! Why didn't I be drawing an Eventil wedding yesterday? That is excellent. I love Eventil and wedding and put together and I scream! From the top of my lungs! I can't actually scream from the top of my lungs. Clandestine. Clandestine. What the fuck was it again? Hold on. Do I have that bad memory? Don't answer that. Tell me why.
Clandestine.
Clandestine. I'm not gonna remember that. To be within Claudia's usual scope of affairs. Moreover, different researchers from Mott have been seen coming and going. I see. Anything else? It appears Lady Aben has been engaging in secret talks with the King of Hathor. Hathor. Khalifa recalled the King of Hathor who, like herself, had pressed the Prophet hard during the summit. I wish the Prophet would press me hard, if you know what I mean. Hathor's ambitions were already well known, and now she had apparently joined forces with my sister, one who shares the blood of Tefnut. Reflecting upon her sister of Tefnut, whose moves had become so predictable they bordered on laughable, Khalifa bared her teeth in an amused, wolfish grin. And rumors have begun spreading through the market, and alleyways that Lady Aben has fallen into hearsay. It's one thing for the lowborn to stray, but how does someone blessed by law have planned? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? But how does someone blessed by law plan to bear the consequences of such a thing? Which is why I humbly wonder, might this perhaps be nothing more than idle rumor spread by the common folk? But there's no smoke without fire. If that hearsay is connected to the cockroaches crawling through Tefnut, then some pieces do seem to fit together. The timing alone is suspiciously coincidental. When Aben began snapping up barren plots of land, when terrorist attacks erupted across Tefnut and beyond, and when whispers first spread of a heretical sect denying Great Mother, law, these events overlap with unsettling precision. I love Yuri, the Yuri show. I'm hoping maybe that, our two main characters will, make out or something. Maybe they'll just be like, we need to save the world. Yes, we do. But together, we have to do it together. Oh, but I love you so much. And then they just stick their tongues down each other's throats. Heresies are like cockroaches, breeding unseen in the shadows, scattering their eggs like a plague. Those consumed by religious fervor may descend into fanaticism, embracing death itself, a menace far deadlier than any ordinary soldier. Such madness far exceeds anything more mercenaries could ever summon. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. I don't want to. I want to speak properly. I do. I want to speak properly. I do believe in fairies. If Aben is harnessing this fervor to sow chaos throughout Tefnut and plotting a coup in the ensuing disorder, it would weave a tale as chilling as it is plausible.
Then, with your permission, I shall endeavor to uncover the origin of these rumors. Good. And what of the other kings? The King of Hathor went directly to her quarters, so we couldn't discern her movements. The King of Bastet rented the auditorium to convene a meeting with her family. And the King of Mart. She dismissed her guards and remained alone with the prophet in the summit hall. My dear sisters certainly are busy. Hey, I didn't like the music cutting out as soon as I did that laugh. That was really sabotaging to me. Come on. With a leisurely smile, Khalifa gazed out over the glittering nightscape of the solar city. Wow, its brilliant lights reflecting on her in her amused eyes. You know who I want to see, guys? I want to see Megan. Oh my god, the new beat. No, Megan. And, oh, who is the other one? Who's the other? Oh, I can't remember any names.
The first day of the week-long Law Festival has arrived, and the streets were overflowing with waves of revelers, haha! Tourists eagerly snapped photos capturing the legendary nightscape of Solar City, while children beamed clutching balloons shaped like the sun. I'm so sorry. Gnarly, gnarly, everything's gnarly. Hottie, like a bag of Takis, I'm the shit. Anyways, Adora threaded her way through the crowd, arms piled high with festival treats. Chicken skewer, sunbread, chocolate-dipped bananas, that sounds fucking gnarly. Jealous of my mansion? Yeah, the view is fucking gnarly. Okay, and more. I don't like bananas. If Heisu had been there, she would have insisted on trying something from every single stall. Do with that what you will. On any other day, Max would have scolded her, eat after the patrol. But today she was strangely quiet, lost in thought as they moved through the lively streets. Max? Without warning, Adora shoved a chocolate-dipped banana into Max's mouth. I would kill you. That sounds gnarly. Hey! I don't know. Max shot her an irritated glare, but as soon as she began chewing on the chocolate-dipped banana with determined focus. For a long while she ate it, saying nothing. Only after the last bite was gone, leaving just a wooden skewer, did Max lift her Oh! I was imagining banana slices. I didn't think it would be like the whole banana on a... I'm gonna vomit. I can't. No. 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 I don't like bananas. I'm a lesbian too. I guess maybe that helps. Did Max lift her gaze to the Eclipse facility towering above them, her brow furrowing? Adora, what do you think of her? Her? Adora answered with 3 chicken nuggets stuffed in her mouth. Her? Senior Dally, I mean. Adora stopped abruptly and looked down at Max. Because she's so fucking small! Roasted! Max, who had been staring at the headquarters, looked back up at her. People usually ask questions like that when they were romantically interested in someone. No. Yet even Adora, who consistently topped Eclipse's most clueless human rankings, outstripping even Heisu, knew that this wasn't that kind of question. Thank God, because Dale and Heisu are together, and you and Adora and Max are together. What do I think of Dale? As a senior, or as a person? It wasn't like Max to ask something so broad. Adora instinctively sensed that Max wasn't actually seeking an answer from her. What kind of answer are you looking for? She regarded Max with a blank expression, completely free of mockery. When Max wrestled with a problem that had no clear solution, sometimes saying it out loud helped her untangle it. That was the only reason Adora tossed the question back. I don't know either. It's just something about her bothers me. Max lifted a hand to her chest, and she brushed it lightly as if trying to soothe a knot of unease she couldn't unravel. Yeah, usually when I'm brushing over my chest, it's to fondle my... I know she hates people.
Yeah, she doesn't even try to hide it.
And when I saw her kill that suspect so mercilessly, I just... No, that's not it.
And I don't know why she talks like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon.
Her words came out disjointed, uncertain. So unlike hello? So unlike Max. Back in Hathor, she treated us like we were nothing but... Sorry, I have a blanket over me, and then something moved. I didn't move, I wasn't moving, and then something moved, so now I'm like panicking. Even though there's nothing on the blanket, I tossed my blanket to the side because I'm paranoid. Back in Hathor, she treated it like we were nothing but obstacles. Anyone could be an obstacle to her, but this time it felt different. There's something else, something I can't put into words. Anxiously, Max toyed with her right earlobe. It was a familiar habit she slipped into when her thoughts refused to cooperate.
Is this nagging feeling related to the case?
Probably.
You think she might be working with the enemy?
No, that's not it. I don't think so. Though the words left Adora's mouth, she didn't believe them herself. She said it as casually as popping another snack between her lips. But I'm sure she's hiding something from us. It must be her relationship with her so-called best friend. I bet they're tonguing it and doing it every single night. You know, sometimes I hear weird noises whenever I pass by their room, and, you know, I'm not gonna imitate the words, but it kind of sounds something like you and me, but like not, it's a little more, how do I say this? I think they're into BDSM. There's a secret she's been keeping even from Jesus. She jerks it. It's still uncomfortable being around her, but I still think of her as a teammate, so Max's voice trailed off, growing fainter until it swallowed entirely by the noisy bustle around them. Then a small droplet landed on her cheek. Startled by the cool touch, Max looks up, far up, into Adora's face towering over her. Gall. Don't worry too much. Adora's expression remained stoic, but her voice and that gentle droplet carried a quiet, almost tender concern. Okay then. Oh, keep it, remember. Powers, they have powers. And Adora power, she have water. She's like a water bender from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Hence it's not, yeah, anyways. Max let out a steep sigh and gave a sheepish... Can you just imagine? Close your eyes, guys. Everybody close your eyes. Imagine. So Max, let's say she's like 5 foot, right? Let's say like 155 centimeters. I don't fucking know. 150 centimeters. She's just standing, and then she looks straight up, and then the woman who's right in front of her, standing straight above her, but her face is like right atop of her, and they're like looking like... I'm like trying to explain it physically, but I know you can't physically see me. I'm just like, problematic size difference. I love it. Anyways, Max let out a deep sigh and gave her a sheepish smile, rubbing the tip of her nose with her index finger. Hey, Sue? Suddenly Max called out to someone who wasn't there. I can sense Jesus nearby. I'm surprised she can pick her out in a crowd this big. Adora idly formed a sphere ball in her palm, kneading it like a stress ball. Max once said Jesus had a strange scent. Like basking in warm sunlight. I was gonna say like fucking wet dog. She complained it was so soothing it made her mind drift, and that it annoyed her. Since they had already finished their patrol, Max and Adora set off, following the faint trace of that warm, sunlit presence. And she's there, busting it down. Alright, we bending my bending. As they approached the hill, the tree of the... As they approached the tree... Or no, as they... One second. As they approached the hill, the tree of the sun, I just pressed, lanterns hung from its branches like clusters of ripe fruit, and it shone more beautifully than ever. Once they reached the top of the hill, a familiar figure sat slouched, casting a lonely shadow. Look at her, always stuck in her own melodrama, moping around. Max's words were blunt as ever when it came to Jesus, but even Adora couldn't deny her that her silhouette looked unmistakably downcast. Adora wasn't one to concern herself with others, yet the bond between Jesus and Dali was impossible to ignore. It's almost like they go to Scissor Town every other night or whatever. If Dali was like a ticking time bomb without Jesus, then Jesus looked like a forlorn puppy drooping with sorrow in her absence. Seeing you're skipping duty again? Huh? Max? Adora? Jesus. God damn. Why am I kind of bricked up right now, guys? Sorry. Why are the words in this game so hard to pronounce? That's probably just me being a dumbass. I'm so sorry. But I have an excuse. And that's because I'm learning another language. And everything's confusing in my head. Jesus swiveled around to look at them. Her eyes snapped wide open as if she hadn't sensed their approach until Max spoke. It was rare for Jesus to miss someone's presence entirely. Why are you here? What about guarding the prophet? Jesus let out a soft groan, pressing her right temple, but only for a second. Oh, that looks good. Adora, you look good. No, she would never. Give me some. Brightening at the sight of them, she quickly snatched a few snacks from Adora's arms and plopped back down. For the first time in a long while, a faint crease formed between Adora's brows. Meanwhile, Max, still waiting for an answer, looked at Jesus with clear disapproval. What? Nothing. Just you being you as always. Max muttered under her breath in resignation as she settled down next to Jesus. Adora, robbed of her evening rations in seconds, dropped down next to Max. Above them, a brilliant fireworks burst across Solar City's night sky, scattering light in every direction. Wow! The cheers of the crowd below carried all the way up the hill. Oh my god! Wow! That's amazing! I'm gonna come! Every night until the closing ceremony of the Raw Festival, the heavens would continue to blossom with a radiant spectacle. In quiet peace, the three of them stared upward, each lost in her own thoughts beneath the glowing sky. Returning from her assigned mission of patrolling the festival, streets under the prophet's orders, Jesus trudged back, asking the guards if there was anything to report. At that moment, with the sound of a lock disengaging, the firmly shut door swung wide open. Agent Jesus, you've returned. Just one chance, please. Just one night. Just one night. Just one night, please. To both of them. The king, the one on the left, and the prophet, the one on the right. Just one night. Just one night. Just one night. Just one night. Please. I'm begging you! Anyways, I've just finished speaking with the King of Mat. Yes, I've completed the mission you assigned and returned. Compared to the tense summit earlier, the prophet's expression was notably lighter. Noticeably! Feeling some of the weight lift from her heart, Jesus let her stiff expression soften and offered the two women a polite bow. Your Holiness, I shall take my leave now. Yes, Sister Sabrina, I will see you tomorrow. Then, just as Sabrina seemed ready to depart from their farewells, she moved with fluid grace and knelt reverently before the prophet. This corridor, restricted for the summit, allowed only pre-registered individuals, and at this moment no one else was present. Even so, this was not a shrine or an audience chamber. It was the middle of a hallway. Startled by Sabrina's unexpected actions, Jesus glanced at the prophet, but she looked completely at ease, as if this were perfectly routine. With her left knee touching the floor and her head bowed, Sabrina extended both hands reverently towards the prophet. In response, she gently placed her right hand upon Sabrina's palm. Then, without a hint of hesitation, Sabrina pressed her lips to the pale glove covering the prophet's hand. It should have been me! No! It should have been me! No! But also Yuri. But it should have been me! Sorry, moment of weakness. It should have been me! The scene looked as though it had stepped out of an illustration from the scripture of solarism, a moment of pure divinity. Heisu, witnessing it unfold before her eyes, could only stand still, holding her breath.
Heisu's like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, my king and kind of my boss are like kind of doing it, even though my boss from my workplace and the prophet are supposed to be the thing, but also the king, but also like, wow.
Cause same. Pressing one's lips to the prophet's hand had, since ancient times, been a tradition honoring the messenger who carries the word of Mother Ra. Yet over the years the custom had faded, reduced to a symbolic gesture reserved for major ceremonies or revivals. That was why Heisu found herself so startled by Sabrina's unhesitating, heartfelt display of reverence in this very place. In an era when even ordinary people's awe towards the prophet was waned, for a king to go this far. When Sabrina withdrew, the prophet gazed at her with deep affection, an affection that seemed to hold all the love in the world. Gracefully, the prophet's hand rose to rest on Sabrina's hair. It was a tender gesture, like a shepherd stroking a lamb's head. Under that touch, Sabrina's slightly dulled golden hair rippled with a subtle wave, and she closed her eyes tightly as if to fully absorb the warmth and grace pouring down upon her. When the hand finally withdrew, Sabrina slowly rose and lifted her eyes to meet the prophet's. "See you tomorrow, Your Holiness."
Yeah.
Yes, Sister Sabrina, get back safely. Agent Heisu?
Yes, ma'am. What?
Lost in what felt like a distant world only moments before, Heisu answered like a flustered rookie on her first assignment. Please take good care of the prophet. If it's you, Agent Heisu, I know I can trust you. Thank you. I'll give it my all. Remembering Sabrina's word in the lab, Heisu instinctively chose thank you over I'm honored, which made Sabrina's cheeks lift slightly into a smile. That soft smile made Sabrina look far more youthful than usual. When the guard waiting outside noticed Sabrina's subtle gesture, she departed, leading her entourage away. Agent Heisu, were you surprised? Yeah. I thought scientists wouldn't be very, devout to, like, religion and stuff. But I guess that was my own prejudice. Of course, there are those who aren't faithful, but Sister Sabrina, she says that the more she pursued her research, the deeper her faith in Mother Ra became. After all, when one investigates the workings of the universe and traces things back to their origins, it's only natural to encounter the footsteps of Mother Ra. Mother in the heavens? The footsteps of Ra? What the fuck is she talking about? Even standing here before me, Agent Heisu. Yes, you are the one of many proofs of Mother Ra's existence. Oh, she must mean supernatural power and the power of creation. Both supernatural power and the power of creation remain beyond scientific explanation. Even now, when the reproductive methods of nearly every living creature in this land have been uncovered, humanity's ability to flourish through creation without fertilization can only be described as a blessing bestowed by Ra, which is cool. Before the descent of the Divine Herald, that is, before the current era, supernatural power did not exist at all. Now, it is as natural as the air they breathe. Yet historians unanimously agree it was only 1,500 years ago, marking the supposed descent of the Divine Herald and the bestowal of divine authority, that supernatural power first appeared in written records. After examining every historical source, official and unofficial alike, scholars have found not a single trace of its existence prior to that point. Of course, that doesn't mean everyone believes in solarism. Some scientists argue that both powers are the result of genetic mutation or evolutionary phenomena, yet without concrete evidence, such claims are dismissed as little more than speculation within scholarly circles. I want to see the bad guy. I want to see Megan. I want to see that one with the skull. I want to see the tomboy looking one. Well, technically they all look like tomboys, I guess. But I want to see Megan. I want to see Megan. Atheists and agnostics in it exist as well, and across the vast stage of this 1500-year history, countless heresies have made their entrances and exits. Now there's this APEP, isn't there? Isn't there? No, it's not spelled like that. It's MEGHAN. Actually, I could be wrong. Wait. Okay, well now you're gonna make me check, aren't you? I can't believe you're making me check, for goodness sakes. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, Adora's birthday. It was March 10th. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed. Max's birthday, January 12th. I missed it. Dale's birthday, December 24th. I missed it. Sabrina's birthday, December 3rd. Megan, MEGHAN. And her birthday was November 23rd, and I missed it. No. Jesus' birthday's October 10th, people. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Okay, anyways. Back to our regularly scheduled program. The ominous word flashed through Jesus' mind, sending her thoughts scrambling as memories surged through the depths. The recollection was still fresh, and the horrific scenes replayed vividly in her mind. Wait, what? What scenes? Before... Shut up! Before that dark reel could fully unfurl, the prophet's unexpected words broke through, pulling her back to the present. Even Ricky believes in the existence of our mother. Surprising, isn't it? Who? Dr. Ricky? At the prophet's words, Jesus' eyes went wide with shock. Yes, though she doesn't refer to Ra as mother or God, she refers to her as,
That's my bitch right there.
Hey, baby! She has a rather curious way of putting it. She calls her the engineer. Engineer? Hello? After all, she says, didn't the engineer... Hold on.
Didn't the engineer build this world?
As she spoke words that might sound sacrilegious to devout ears, she only smiled softly, like someone amused by a child's mischievous remark. I want to see Megan! Deep in the darkness. Oh. Footsteps echoed crisply through the stark corridor lined with steel bars.
Crispy footsteps, nothing better.
The sharp rhythm halted before a heavy iron door, one that looked more impenetrable than any other, yet it slid open smoothly, as if it had never been locked at all. Sitting on the edge of her bed, Dale had been staring out the small, desolate window. She swiveled around to face the owner of those footsteps. Look at that devious-ass smirk. As the door yawned open before her, a sharp curve, like the edge of shattered glass, split her lips into a cold smile. In the next instant, as fireworks flashed outside the grim window, no shadow of anyone remained within. Wait. No. Dale, you can't be the bad guy. Because if you are, I mean, that's gonna be crazy plot for you and Jesus, and when you make out and all that, it's gonna be so cool or whatever because it's like a crazy plot. But you can't hurt Jesus like this, Dale. You can't do it. No, you can't do that. A high podium had been erected at the base of the steps leading up to the temple, with 6 lavish chairs arranged behind it. Seated upon them are the 4 kings, the prophet and the prophet's heir. Prophet's heir. I would love to sniff the air around her. Today, for the first time, the 12-year-old heir would unveil her sacred countenance to the public. 12? 12? On the second day of the Raw Festival, commemorating the nation's founding, fireworks lit up the sky, marking the beginning of the ceremony. Colorful bursts painted the heavens, and the eyes of countless spectators reflected the dazzling lights like a field of twinkling stars. The true spectacle of the second day had only just begun. As soon as the fireworks faded, the King of Tefnut rose, as if she had been waiting for that very moment. Khalifa's powerful silhouette, carved in bold, regal lines, drew gasps of awe from the audience. Audience! It's audience! From her mobile lips flowed a voice so powerful and primal it surged like a beast, flooding the square with its overwhelming presence.
Sisters of the Sun.
Wow, King Khalifa! Oh my god! I'm gonna coom in my pants! You're amazing! Oh my god, I'm wet! At the word, the crowds packed shoulder to shoulder erupted in a roar, unable to contain their excitement. On the second day of the Ra festival, Solaris Day, the founding day of Ra, it was traditional for one of the 4 kings to deliver the ceremonial address. This year, it was King Khalifa's turn.
Thanks to the Ra festival, which honors the Great Mother and the land of Solar, the sisters of Bastet, Tefnut, Hathor, and Maat, and all daughters of the sun, we have been able to gather here together as one.
Khalifa's gaze swept over the assembled masses with tender warmth. The tension from just the day before, during the summit, was nowhere to be seen. Veiling her true intentions, she flawlessly played the role of La's devoted child, cloaked in sisterly love and unity. The audience beneath the stage, utterly captivated by her one-woman show, responded with cheers and thunderous applause.
Let us worship the miracle of Ra, who brought this world into being.
She bowed deeply to the prophet, offering a gesture of utmost respect. Her body was lowered, however, her entire being radiates the commanding presence of an untouchable sovereign.
Ha ha! We can't let stiff speeches ruin such a joyous day.
Lifting her head, she burst into a hearty laughter, revealing a flawless row of teeth behind her full lips. Thanks.
The blazing sun above. Fuck! Let the festival begin! Fuck!
Wow, may the glory arise! Shine upon King Khalifa! Oh my god, you're so hot! I'm gonna please let me touch your hand!
After she returned to her seat, the dancers she had brought stepped forward to the stage. They began a lively performance, their long sleeves fluttering to the beat of Tefnut's traditional drums. Their movements overflowed with energy, like wild beasts closing in on their prey. Next came the martial artists of Bastet. Since ancient times, Bastet's martial arts have been renowned for their exceptional skills. Though the nation once bore another name, it was known for carefully preserving its ancient traditions. The martial artists mesmerized the audience with precise, controlled movements, channeling the energy of nature itself. Sharp front kicks, sweeping spin kicks, and straight punches sliced cleanly through the air. Heisu watched in awe. Wow, I used to train in martial arts too. She smiled, nostalgic as she remembered the day she trained with her mother and Ryan.
Wow! Oh my god, that's so amazing!
Imagine that guy from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That when he saw Aang, he was like, and then he has foam in his mouth. As the final performance ended, a thunderous wave of applause swept across the plaza. Amid the searing excitement of the crowd, blazing like the sun itself, the prophet quietly appeared. Gradually, the cheers ebbed away like a receding tide. Standing upon a silent toadium, the prophet cast a serene, contemplative, fuck you, gaze over the masses gathered below the temple. Thank you all for attending this year's festival.
Wow! Oh my god, the prophet!
Please, just one night, just one night! Not even 1 hour, please, just 1 hour.
On this sacred day, when Ra, the sun god, our great mother, descended upon this very place, we bore witness to the miracle of the sun and beheld the divine power of creation with our own eyes.
Glory to Solar City!
Just as the first ones forged this world with the powers of wind, water, fire, and earth, it has now been 24 years since these blessings converged once again, allowing us to enjoy lives of greater abundance and prosperity.
Megan! Oh! It's Megan! It's Megan! It's Megan! It's Megan!
Can you guys see why I like Megan? Look at her.
You can't even see. She's covered from head to toe! But I fucking love Megan!
A blessing indeed. Megan murmured, oh, a blessing indeed. Megan murmured under her breath, her voice too faint for anyone else to catch, as though mocking the prophet's words. Oh, a blessing indeed. The prophet turned her sun-bright smile towards the monarch seated behind her. Receiving her grace, the kings rose in unison. Then, with one hand pressed over their hearts, they offered reverence to the prophet, to the great mother, Ra.
Glory of Ra upon Solar City.
Blessings of Ra upon Solar City. A power of Ra upon Solar City. Mercy of Ra upon Solar City. In that moment, as all the kings bowed their heads, only one met the prophet's eyes. She was the one destined to become the true star of today's festival, the prophet's heir. Come forward. She suddenly became British. I'm so sorry, that's terrible. The prophet guided the heir to the podium. Yes, mother.
She gave birth?
It must be her and Ryan's daughter, I'm sure. Old woman Yowie.
What?
Old woman. Get out of here! Standing side by side before countless upturned faces, they faced the gathering together. To you, may Raz. The prophet cupped their heir's head, preparing to offer a prayer. Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar tore through the square, so immense it felt as if Solar City had been split in two. A plume of blood-red smoke erupted from behind the plaza, faster than anyone else. Heisu threw herself towards the prophet, who had already shielded the air with her body. Prophet! Oh, nice ass. I'm sorry, I know this is like a very serious moment, but like... nice shot! Spurred by... She doesn't look bothered at all. Spurred by Heisu's movement, guards from every nation, as well as the agents stationed along the platform, sprang into action, forming defensive lines. Shielding the prophet with her body, Heisu quickly checked her condition. The prophet trembled like a quaking leaf, transmitting her fear unmistakably. Yet somehow Heisu felt like that this trembling wasn't caused by the attack alone. Wow! My god! I'm gonna fucking die before I... I'm gonna die before I got to even have 1 hour with the prophet! The crowd, previously enthralled by the festival, now witnessed buildings, debris cascading behind them like the drifting pollen. You're gonna what? I'm smirking. Because only then did the spectators grasp the reality of what was happening. Screaming, they scrambled to escape the square. Save us! Oh my god! They scattered like ants beneath falling stones, colliding and trampling over one another in desperate panic. At that moment, the Eclipse emergency system activated. A blue barrier, a protective dome expanded, enveloping the entire plaza and a temple to ward off external threats. With the barrier in place, this was now the safest space in all of Solar City. The guards and Eclipse agents tightened their formation, watching for any signs of the enemy, just before the commander could issue new orders. With your blood, a pep shall descend upon this land. A furious voice rang out, followed by an ear-splitting crack. Don't you hate crack, guys? An explosion powerful enough to rend the earth uprooted. An explosion powerful enough to rend the earth erupted from within the barrier. Flames roared skyward, slamming against the blue ceiling of the dome. In an instant, every scream filling the plaza was cut short. It was though the abyss had opened to the heart of the square. In the pitch-black void left behind, only shredded corpses lay scattered like rags across the ground. Jesus. As the far edges, where the darkness had not fully consumed everything, faint groans and weeping seeped into the silence. Jesus. My Sultan! One of the Tefnut's guards swiftly pulled the crimson gemstone from her robe and presented it to her king, but the gem had lost its luster, glowing like a dull, murky light. Damn it! The jewel's dead. Khalifa's voice rang out sharply. Sabrina, already sensing something was wrong, clutched the teleportation gem handed to her by her escort and glanced at Khalifa grimly. Heisu, too, pulled out her emergency gem and found the same cloudy, dim light within. Everyone! Evacuate through the temple! To the shelter! The commander's voice cut through the chaos. Shielded by their escorts, the kings retreated towards the temple, their safety the highest priority. In the race against time, Heisu knew she couldn't delay the prophet and heir's evacuation for even a second. Yet amid the swirling confusion and horror, her eyes caught on something standing calmly within the... One chance. Her eyes caught something standing calmly within the devastation. I like this color. Herald. It's a woman, by the way, guys. Don't get this messed up. It's not a man. Count Harold, who had attended the summit alongside King Megan of Hathor. To Jesus, she appeared almost unnervingly composed, her calm suggesting she had foreseen this exact moment. Harold's eyes, which had been fixed... Harold's eyes, which had been fixed on the devastated square, suddenly shifted to meet Jesus. They curved into an elegant arc. In that hellish scene strewn with torn bodies, her serene expression was enough to make Jesus forget, for heartbeat, the nightmare around them. Harold offered a bright, refreshing smile. Then, with a polite nod, she disappeared into the chaos like she had never been there. Oh god, I have to protect the prophet! As much as I want to follow her...
Why do you think I timed this shit?
As much as I want to follow her, if the prophet dies, I die. You know what I'm saying, guys? You know what I'm saying? I think I did the right choice. I think. Deep within Jesus, her instincts reared up, wailing like a siren and warning her to pursue Harold. That woman must be the one who caused this catastrophe! Catastrophe, what the fuck? However, this isn't the time. There was not a moment to lose. With a bomb explosion occurring inside the barrier, Jesus had to evacuate the prophet and the heir to a temple without delay. Jesus, along with the guards, escorted the prophet and the heir into the safety of the temple. Moments later, the ground of Solar City quaked anew with the thunderous roar of Death's fireworks. Instruct all agents to prioritize civilian evacuation and to eliminate the terrorists on site.
Yes, Your Grace.
Agent Jesus, I shall proceed to the command headquarters. My daughter, Maparam, I entrust her safety unto you. But prophet, you must also flee for safety. I am the sovereign of the sun. I intend to fulfill my duty, so I ask that you refrain from any further remarks.
Mother?
The heir clutched the prophet's hands and her voice laced with worry. Why can't we see the child? Why is the child invisible? I will be all right, Maparam. Follow her. The prophet offered a gentle smile and guided the small hand, gripping hers towards Jesus. Everything will be okay, heir. I'll ensure your safety. Jesus knelt, bringing herself to the girl's eye level. The child stared back at her with wide eyes filled with terror, her small shoulders tightly hunched. No matter how exalted her status as the heir to the sun's throne, she was still only 12. This could only be terrifying. Seeing the heir's bloodless lips trembling uncontrollably, Jesus gave her a reassuring smile, and slowly reached out her hand. It is all right. At the prophet's words, the heir placed her hands in Jesus. Jesus enclosed the girl's cold fingers between both of hers.
Agent Jesus.
They moved through the temple towards a sanctuary known only to Eclipse's high-ranking officers and the clergy of Solarism. In a desperate situation where only every second mattered, the heir suddenly stopped. Heir, we're almost there. Jesus kept her voice as gentle as she could, yet the heir stood firm, shaking her head as she looked up with sorrowful eyes.
The prophet told me something.
Heir, please, we must keep moving. Despite Jesus' urgency, the heir, stop saying hair! Heir would not budge.
When the divine herald descended to save us, she was never alone. By her side was always her other half she cherished.
Her voice quivered with delicate tremors. As Jesus studied her expression, she realized it was not fear clouding those eyes, but a sorrow deep enough to swallow her whole. Jesus dropped to Jesus Christ, I thought I got shot! Jesus dropped to one knee to meet her gaze.
I'm still experienced, and I cannot hear the many voices that Her Holiness does.
The heir placed her small hand over Jesus, strengthening the quiet connection between them. The prophet was a figure of such sanctity that all knowledge concerning her was kept under the strictest secrecy. Thus, even Jesus' understanding of the prophet consisted only of permitted fragments. But it was widely known that the prophet could hear not only the voice of Ra, but also the whispers of the hearts around her.
Still, this much I know. Within that vessel there are voices beyond counting, far too many for it to be ever hold for them all.
Pardon me, I do not understand. Thank you, Jesus, because neither do I. Her delicate tremors flowed straight into Jesus' hands, each shiver carrying the weight of her words. The air parted her lips as though steadying the sorrow tightening her breath.
Her Holiness told me that if a time came when only you and I remained, I was to give you this key. From around her slender neck, the necklace slipped free, guided by her small hand, and gently came to rest in Jesus' palm. An ankh pendant hung from its end, the symbol of life, with an oval loop crowning a cross. At the intersection of the cross gleamed a soft amber gem, glowing as if it held a fragment of sunlight. It is the key to the prophet's private library, a place only they may enter. There lies the hidden book of life, never revealed to the world. Why are you giving this to me? Jesus was stunned by the 12-year-old's composure. The child seemed to see straight through her. She stared at the girl, momentarily forgetting the urgency of their peril. As their eyes met, the heir's delicate brows trembled. Her skin was so pale she looked almost like a porcelain doll thing. The prophet foresaw her own death. This is why she entrusted this key to me today. I know I am being foolish. Even so, a mere speck of life. Like a fragile soul confessing before the Almighty, she gazed up at Jesus with eyes full of desperate, unspoken pleas. Put itself into her vision, sacred and still. The prophet's gaze lingered for a moment on those already vanished, leaving not a trace. She lowered her eyes down the corridor, then pressed forward without delay. Things are getting very serious. When Dale Jesus gonna, tongue it out or whatever? Things are getting a little bit serious here, guys. Under the protection of the Eclipse agents, she moved through the passage connecting to the Temple of Operation Quarters. Halt! Identify yourself. Oh. Dale, why is your face blacked out? At the far end of the corridor, a lone figure stood in the wavering light spilling through the window. All units, tighten the perimeter. I'm so sick of it. In stark contrast to the prophet, clad in immaculate white ceremonial robes, the figure dressed entirely in black seemed the embodiment of darkness itself. Surrender and lay down your weapon, or else! Before the commander could even finish her warning, the darkness reached out its hand. Only the prophet grasped the meaning of that gesture. She sensed the malice behind it. However, it was already too late. Wah! The agents sorry, that was so mean. The agents simultaneously began shrieking towards the air, as if each of them had seen a specter. Stay back! Stay back! No, don't eat me! Even one of the finest among the elite guards lost her composure, bolting past the prophet in a blind panic. Wah! Just before she passed her, blood burst from her face and she collapsed. Her head struck the marble with a sickening crack, spreading like a grotesque flower. The dark red carpet rolled out across the once pristine white marble. It spread gradually until it reached the feet of the protagonist. Oh. Hey, the figure stepped forward, treading across the crimson path and halted before the prophet. You are... The prophet faced the darkness, her calm suggesting that she had foreseen this moment. It was then a voice emerged from the corridor's gloom. Apep, my god, the Herald of Light is on her way. Harold cast a disdainful look at the bodies that had become fodder for hatred, then bowed deeply to the woman behind the black mask. Wait a minute. Yet Apep, as she was called, did not spare Harold even the briefest glance. Instead, she seized the prophet by the throat and yanked her forward until their faces nearly touched. What do you intend to do now? Ask Ra. Ask her what fate awaits you. Or beg her, with that precious gift of yours, to spare your life. I can hear your whimpers. I warned you, speak such rubbish again and I will end you. Despite the venom in her words, her tone remained chillingly composed. She extended a hand toward Harold. Harold, wearing a serene smile, presented her knife with both hands, as though offering a sacred tribute to God. Do you intend to harm Jesus? She is your... Apep's hand tightened around the prophet's throat, as if to choke her off her next words, before driving a cold, gleaming blade into her side. Ugh! No, my Shayla! The blade that had torn into her insides was yanked out with one sharp kick from Apep. There was no emotion in her movements, only cold precision. She pressed down on the prophet's limp shoulder with her bloodied shoe, thick with gore and filth. The once immaculate white robe absorbed the spreading pool of blood across the floor, staining it a sickening shade of scarlet. Yes, I spent a long time wondering how best to kill you. Every time you slithered about, reeking of raw stench, I wondered again and again, how could I make your death all the more agonizing? Her voice, raw with unfiltered hatred, sliced into the prophet like a honed blade once more. The prophet. What a joke. You're nothing but Ra's pitiful marionette. If only you had played your role as a bystander properly, like the doll you are. Suddenly her emotions, once seething with hostility, vanished, as abruptly as a child discarding a broken toy. I would have killed you myself, she murmured, while gazing up at the pale moon framed between the window panes. Is she not? Apep seized the prophet by her hair, dragging her limp body out of the temple. Upon reaching the top of the steps, she kicked the weary, discarded toy down the stairs with ruthless ease. Jesus. Oh my days. Like a bird stripped of her wings, the prophet tumbled helplessly, each breath a fragile thread on the brink of snapping. Even as her vision dimmed, her eyes remained fixed on Apep above, like a mortal staring at a merciless God. Jesus Christ. Die where no God can reach you. An ice-cold pronouncement fell upon the prophet's head. A divine apocalypse crushed her spirit, bearing down with a suffocating weight. Apep flung the prophet like a piece of discarded luggage into the square. The blast survivors stood frozen, horror stealing their voices. Without a backward glance, Apep disappeared into the temple. Behind her remained a vision of hell, stripped of even the faintest hope. Kill her. The Reaper's loyal handmaiden delivered the decree. Miles away, Ryan guided panicked citizens through a district shattered by the first explosion. Then another thunderous crack split the air from the temple's direction. The earth rumbled like a furious quake, sending evacuees sprawling with anguished cries. Mom! Mom! The desperate wails of a child searching for her mother mingled with the cacophony. Please spare me! Help me! I don't want to die! In air thick with despair and pandemonium, Ryan clenched her teeth hard enough to draw blood. When she turned towards the square, she saw the blue barrier flickering violently, writhing beneath relentless blasts. Shujin! Things were spiraling. A cold sweat slid down her spine. She had fully anticipated that a series of incidents should lead to consequences like this. However, her miscalculation lay in failing to foresee the sheer scale of the assault. Its shocking speed caught her completely unprepared. This is unmistakably a coup. Though the heretics appeared to spearhead the attack, they were surely mere puppets. Powerful figures, dissatisfied with the regime, were making their move to seize the prophet's authority. The ruthless brutality of the terrorists, who had showed not the slightest trace of mercy in attacking civilians, posed a deadly threat to Eclipse. I read Eclipse as Europe for a second, and I was like, whoa, what? No matter how impregnable... If the conflict dragged into a prolonged war, the scale of damage would be unimaginable. The only consolation amid this misfortune was knowing that Heisu, whom she trusted more than anything, was with Shujin. Max, Adora, I'm leaving this to you. I'm going to the prophet. Yes, ma'am. Ryan surged into the square, carried by the wind. The familiar landscape was gone, leaving behind only a merciless hell. Shattered bodies, charred remains, smoke thick enough to choke. Even after years of service, bile rose in her throat. She forced herself past the devastation and hastened toward the temple, but halted. At the center of the square, beneath the temple steps, lay a single body. Around it, people clustered, either staring skyward in vacant prayer or wailing hoarsely, their sobs cutting through the smoke-laden air. Amid the surrounding chaos, this space felt eerily still, gray, untouched by motion. Shujin, Ryan cried out, not the title of the prophet, but the name of her beloved friend. At the heart of the square, Shujin lay sprawled, her priestly robes drenched in dark crimson. Ryan shoved aside the crowd clustered around her and hurried to Shujin's side. There was no sign of life. Not even a faint stir of breath lingered in her broken form. As Ryan looked down at Shujin's pallid face, the gentle smile that had once lived on her lips was gone. Ryan gathered her in her arms, warm, still faintly warm. Her pristine white uniform blossomed with scarlet as she buried her face in the shoulder of her dearest friend. You know, Ryan, if I could live as Shujin, just once. The woman who had wished to live not as the prophet but as herself was gone. All her life, she had listened to others' voices, never her own. Because the divine never allowed her that choice. Ryan had never truly prayed. Yet now, without even realizing it, she let everything fall away. She pleaded over and over, silently begging the sky. Great Mother Ra, please, save my friend. Are you sure you're more religious friend? Sorry, not the time. I beg of you. Damn, this is actually quite sad. I'm getting emotional. Yet the accursed god gave no answer. To a deity who spans eternity, a mortal's life is nothing but a fleeting diversion. Prayer was merely the desperate wail of the insignificant. Nothing more, nothing less. For a long moment, the world seemed to stop breathing. Ryan clutched Shujin's lifeless body, unmoving, until the weight of someone's gaze set her halted heartbeat into motion once more. Sensing a suffocating, inky malice, she lifted her head. Atop the temple steps stood a woman, watching with serpent-like indifference. The one who fixed Ryan with a venomous glare was her. She slowly turned her back and disappeared into the temple shadows. If I went after the herald, would the prophet still be alive? Was that my mistake? Did I think that me sticking with the prophet was gonna save her? Oh. Sticking with the prophet after the bomb came off. You know, how stupid of me. Why would that be, like, saving her? Hello! She slowly turned her back and disappeared into the temple shadows. Wait! Her reason was obliterated by a flood of uncontrollable fury. Trap or not, it didn't matter. Ryan needed somewhere to hurl the fury boiling in her chest. But if I didn't go with the prophet, I wouldn't have gotten the key from the child. And maybe the key from the child is going to resurrect the prophet. Using my old noodle. I'm using my thinker thonker. Instinctively, she charged after the woman, plunging into the depths of the temple. The temple, once awash in sacred light, now reeked only of damp, cloying death. Each step left behind wet, red footprints staining the desecrated floor. At the end of that path, engulfed in darkness, a magnificent stained glass window, bearing the towering image of the tree of the sun, caught the pallid moonlight. Shards of colored light fell upon the throne of the sovereign of the sun. It was a resplendent chair gilded in gold, a seat of nobility permitted only to the prophet. Dally, no! Dally, no! I'm gonna drink water, hold on. Sorry, I know the game is quiet, but you're gonna have to hear me drink. Hopefully not, though. You probably heard me drink. I'm so sorry. Yet beneath that fragile light settled a pitch-black shadow cloaked in the stench of death. For someone called Ra's proxy, she lasted longer than I expected. In the end, though, an empty death, unworthy of someone so noble. Wouldn't you agree? The voice of the woman in the black mask crackled and distorted like static from a broken radio. Veins stood out starkly on Ryan's tightly clenched fists. She drew a deep breath, closing her eyes for the brief moment. When they reopened, a bitter smile twisted across her usually impassive face. For Ryan, as a soldier, there had always been an unbridgeable chasm between a mission and murder. She had completed countless missions, but never once had she taken a life out of personal or emotional impulse. Until now. A savage urge coiled inside her, a desire to tear another human being limb from limb. Her heart raced as the wind wrapped around her body, roaring as it whipped itself into a violent vortex, gathering the wind beneath her feet, Ryan closed the distance to a pep in an instant, as if launched from a loaded spring. At the same moment, a pep rose from the sun's throne, swiftly drawing a gun concealed within her robes. With a sharp metallic click as the safety disengaged, the trigger was pulled. It was a revolver set with a transparent gem, yet untouched by any hue. It still retained its pure state, yet not yet imbued with any supernatural power. Dodging a bullet fired at such close range through physical means alone was impossible. Ryan conjured a wall of wind, determined to deflect the bullet. The transparent barrier before her spun at a furious speed, roaring with rage, impenetrable by any ordinary projectile. However, the bullet sliced through the air, tracing a flawless trajectory, as clean as a blade's cut, and embedded itself neatly into Ryan's right arm. Several vermilion blossoms erupted into bloom where Ryan stood. You should have dodged instead of trying to deflect. Ryan fixed a steely glare on the sneering dark silhouette and gathered the wind into her left hand. The wind held its shape for a brief moment before bursting with a sharp pop and scattering into the air. Without a second to think, Ryan lunged straight at a pep. But a second bullet cut through her charge, and spray of wet scarlet erupted from her thigh, splattering across the floor. One of Ryan's knees buckled at last. She crashed to the blood-soaked ground, ripples spreading beneath her. These bullets are imbued with the power of nullification. You won't be able to use your ability for hours. A pep's voice, chillingly calm, drifted to Ryan's ears as she stepped closer with slow, deliberate strides. I've spent a long time perfecting them. Aren't they magnificent? She leaned in until her masked face hovered mere inches from Ryan's. The loud, grating noise that had been clouding Ryan's mind suddenly fell silent, cut off as if by an unseen blade. Oops, wrong button, sorry. Into the clear, ringing quiet, a voice slipped in, bright and merry, like a child hungry for praise. You. That familiar voice. Ryan's pupils widened in raw shock. A pep slowly lifted her mask, letting the moonlight spill over her face. The yay as we see Dale's face. No, Dale! Why are you the bad guy? Time seemed to halt once more for Ryan. She froze, breath stolen, eyes locked on Dale's face in a dazed stare. But her gaze immediately clouded with despair, and her features twisted in an expression beyond words. Dale split her lips in a jagged grin, like a beast gorging itself on the feast of Ryan's anguish. Captain, now that we're here... A sweet voice, like a confession, slipped into Ryan's ears, sickly and tender. I've been waiting for this day. The day I'd finally kill you. With a mischievous flick, Dale tapped her finger lightly against Ryan's forehead, teasing her. Ryan's uninjured arm shot up, seizing Dale's collar with a trembling fury. Her eyes blazed with hopelessness of a beast caught in a snare, despair, rage, and resignation swirling in their depths. Dale's eyes flashed dangerously in the moment their gazes met. You're a goddamn monster. Her mind flashed back to the day she first met Dale. From the very first encounter, a gnawing unease had slithered into her chest. It had felt like stepping into a bottomless, treacherous swamp. Her instincts had screamed that Dale was dangerous. However, she had arrogantly believed that as long as Jesus was by Dale's side, they could confine her. That given time, the warmth of others, Dale might change. And that misguided conviction had birthed this nightmare. You're a monster that escaped its cage, a vile creature that tears humans apart down to the bone. Even as Ryan spat out her words like venom, Dale's shoulders shook with laughter as if she found the hatred amusing. It was the first time Ryan had ever heard her laugh. Please, don't die too quickly. Hold on, just until Jesus gets here. Dale whispered sweetly, like a devoted prayer offered to her beloved god. Go to hell. You, who dare pretend to be Jesus' family? I'll make sure you die in the most excruciating way imaginable. Why? I'm so confused. Dale's eyes curved like crescent moons. They glistened with a bottomless, seething hatred. After evacuating the heirs to the underground shelter, Jesus hurried into the surface corridor. An ear-splitting explosion rocked the ground beneath her feet. Shit! A string of curses spilled from her mouth as the relentless attacks showed no sign of stopping. The headquarters was under attack. The Eclipse building had been meticulously reinforced to withstand both terrorist assaults and earthquakes. For it to shake this violently meant the terrorist weapons carried extraordinary power, and there was now a very real possibility the enemy had already breached the headquarters. Damn it! She knew all too well that she needed to return to the Prophet without delay. Yet instead she ran towards the Eclipse detention cells, located on the exact opposite side of the operation headquarters. Under normal circumstances, Dale would have protected herself easily, but right now she was restrained by a suppression device, and every weapon had been confiscated. Moreover, ever since her conversation with the heir, a nameless unease had been churning inside Jesus, making it impossible for her to focus fully on the mission. In this moment, finding Dale was her only priority. What the? The door at the holding cell stood wide open. She brushed her hand across the bed inside. It's cold. Fortunately, there was no signs of a struggle or forced entry. The perfectly undisturbed sheets suggest that Dale had left the room of her own accord. Jesus shook her head fiercely, trying to drive away the ominous dread creeping through her chest, and turned back on the eerily silent room.
Hi, babies!
But to Jesus' surprise, the operation headquarters was utterly devoid of any signs of life. Have they not arrived yet? Even if the commander had yet to appear, there should still at least have been personnel standing by. As she stood in the unnerving silent space, an unpleasant chill slid down her spine. There's only one place left. The last place she had seen the Prophet, the corridor connecting the temple and the operation headquarters. Gah! What Jesus found was not the Prophet, but the bodies of the guards strewn carelessly across the corridor like discarded dolls. The sight was so unbearable that her eyes instinctively darted away, unable to take in the full extent of the carnage. The corridor reeked of blood, and she reflexively repressed her sleeve against her nose. Corpses lay scattered everywhere. One guard's face was covered in congealed blood. Another's features were twisted into a grotesque rictus, mouth stretched open, bloodshot eyes frozen in terror. Deep gouges marred her throat, fingernails torn and embedded with ragged scraps of her own flesh. Her heart pounded painfully in her chest, threatening to burst after springing without pause. Reaching the temple entrance, Jesus scanned the surroundings, wiping the sweat streaming down her forehead. Nothing but darkness awaited her, like a curtain of shadow drawn tight across the hall, broken only by faint moonlight filtering softly through the stained glass. And there, standing alone beneath the pale glow, a black silhouette seized her gaze. Dale? No matter how different the clothing, she could never fail to recognize her. Jesus called out her name. And there she was, the one she had been searching for so desperately.
I mean, not to be that guy or gal. She's still hot. God damn it.
Dale turned slightly, her lips curling into a faint smile at the sound of Jesus' voice. Clad in midnight itself, she seemed to make the dim moonlight glow even brighter by contrast. As she shifted a little more, the curled shape of someone collapsed on the floor came into view. The bodied boots and the inky shadows trailing from Dale swallowed the fallen woman entirely, like a beast devouring its prey. Only after she took a few hesitant steps toward Dale did the face of the collapsed figure finally come into focus. No, this can't be real. Even as Jesus' mind screamed in denial, her feet kept moving forward. A trembling hand reached to the pulse of Ryan's neck. She's not. Her body had gone cold, stripped of every trace of warmth. No breath, no pulse, no sign of life remained. It felt as though invisible hands were closing around Jesus' throat, choking off her breath. She clung desperately to the last thread of her sanity, refusing to let herself slip away from this unbearable reality. Sorry. Even as her own breath came in ragged gasps, Jesus pressed her hand against Ryan's chest. With each desperate compression, the rhythm of her arms made her own heart feel as though it was plunging deeper into despair. Ryan, please, please! Whether from exhaustion or something far deeper, her arms grew weaker with every passing second. Her movements slowed until, overcome by searing anguish, she let out a blood-curdling scream and slammed her fists into the floor. She struck the ground again and again, heedless of how her knuckles split open and darkened with blood. Dale! From her lips, blackened with rage and grief, Dale's name spilled out like a desperate prayer. Dale, Ryan, she's not breathing. Jesus, I'm gonna need you to put 2 and 2 together, ma'am. Jesus repeated the words over and over like a broken record, as if saying them enough times might somehow make them untrue. Mother. The trembling voice calling out to Dali overlapped in her mind with the cries of her younger self, helpless, terrified wails from a nightmare long buried in the past. The horrific memory rising alongside this present hell filled Jesus with an overwhelming urge to flee from the prison of reality. No matter how many times she called, Ryan would never answer again, just as her mother had never answered. A lifeless vessel abandoned by the breath of life gave no response. Amid the storm of grief swirling in her mind, a voice not her own whispered bitterly, "Life always leaves me behind." Dale. Every time Jesus sank into the void, Dale had reached out, placing her hand over Jesus. Just as she always had, Jesus looked up at her now, pleading, holding on to the hope that Dale would save her once again. But at the end of her desperate gaze, where salvation should have been, there were only Dale's emotionless eyes. Jesus. Dale's once serene stare curved into a ferocious arc. Her face looked less like a savior and far more like a ravenous wolf that was already dead. Dale's finger pointed unfeelingly at Ryan's lifeless form. It was a sentence, an absolute pronouncement that the empty vessel no longer held the breath of life. After delivering her verdict, Dale's lips parted slightly. Dale's smiling. Jesus' heart thundered, threatening to tear itself from her chest. Shapes and sounds twisted together. Floor and ceiling blurred into one. Reality and nightmare tangled in every direction. The world itself shattered, spilling upside down. What are you saying? Even though her blurred vision, Jesus could see the ecstatic expression lighting Dale's face, and that blissful smile felt like it was crushing her heart with a merciless grip. Jesus, I killed it. Dale spoke with a radiant smile. She looked as though she had waited for this moment her entire life. No, this must be a nightmare. Jesus heard a faint voice, so distorted it barely sounded like her own, echoing cruelly in her ears. Is this your nightmare, or is it mine? Dale had always been haunted by nightmares, yet for reasons Jesus could never understand, she had never once spoken of them, and Jesus had never asked, "What kind of nightmares do you dream about?" Jesus, I will kill every last human in this world. Dale's nightmare had stepped out of the shadows, and now stood directly before Jesus. Jesus knew. She had always known. She knew that Dale harbored a festering, relentless hatred for humanity. She knew that her loathing was pure, unfeigned, and absolute. And yet, even when she was tormented by nightmares, if I held her hand, she would calm down. I believed if I stayed by her side, everything would be fine. Jesus lifted her head, the pale moonlight streaming through the window swelled, casting an eerie spotlight across the room. Backlit by the glow, Dale stood like a dark, featureless shadow. From within that inky silhouette, a curve emerged, sharp and delicate like a crescent moon carved by a blade. Killing a few hundred wasn't nearly enough. No matter how many I crush, they keep crawling back out like cockroaches. Dale buried her face in her hands. From between her fingers seeped the anguished moans of a beast trapped within its confines. I realized this just wasn't going to cut it. She lowered her hands, her face lit with a disturbingly serene expression, unshackled from her torment at last. I was on the brink of madness even before I met you. Her smile, though wide, looked fractured. Something deep inside her splintered and torn. I let the fools who lusted over the divine taste its sickly sweetness, and I created crutches for the vermin who couldn't survive without clinging to something. What are you even saying? Jesus shook her head vehemently, as if trying to deny the reality before her. Watching her, Dale's eyes softened with languid affection, as though Jesus' desperate denial only made her more endearing. Then she raised the mask loosely held in her hand and placed it over her face. Oh, Apep, grant eternal death to those fools. Then, echoing words she had once heard long ago, Dale spoke again. Jesus, I am that death. If your blood created this world, then my blood will be the one that destroys it.
Huh.
I mean, if they kiss. And then, in the end, Only you and I will remain. I mean, like, if they kiss right now, that'd be, like, super cool. Wait. I don't understand. Why do they pressure me? Why can't they let me think? I don't know. Sorry, I had to pause for a minute. I don't know. Why are they rushing me? If your blood created this world, then my blood will be the one to destroy it. She repeated Dahlia's words over and over in her mind, desperately trying to piece together their meaning. However, I don't understand any of this. I'm thinking if I chose the other one, it would be like... It would be like... You kill her, and then it's the end. But this one is like... You don't understand, but then you go along with her plan. But I don't like either of those. I just wanted them to kiss. Everything was tangled in chaos. Her thoughts were so knotted she couldn't think straight. Her mind felt ready to shatter just from trying to accept what had happened right before her eyes. I thought I knew everything about you. But now, I'm not so sure anymore. Sure anymore. Shut the fuck up. All at once, as if her consciousness had gone numb, no emotions rose within her heart. Perhaps she was paralyzed by the torrent of feelings threatening to burst from her mind, unable to grasp which one to feel first. Like a child hiding beneath the covers, trembling at the sound of thunder, Jesus lifted her head with shaking hands, searching for the one who had always been her savior. It's okay if you don't understand now, Jesus. Dahlia's eyes, like a horizon swallowing the evening glow, shimmered with a cloying sweetness. Within that shifting light, Jesus' own confused and familiar face flickered like a phantom. This is all for us. That saccharine whisper, soft and beguiling, lured Jesus toward a blissful ignorance, murmuring, "There is no need for you to worry. She wants to kill everyone, including the people who are helping her. Why are they helping her if she's going to kill them at the end because she only wants her and Jesus to be the ones alive? Also, they definitely can't have children because she would kill their children. This is... for us?" Suddenly, vivid screams, tortured moans, and blood-curdling cries filled Jesus' ears. Taking in every detail of the horrific hell surrounding her, she raised her eyes once more to meet Dahlia's gaze. Standing atop a mountain of corpses devoid of even the faintest spark of life, Dahlia's expression was disturbingly serene. In that nightmarish place, Jesus found herself wishing her breath would simply stop. A hollow laugh slipped from her lips. I really don't know anymore. I don't know what I even want to do with you. Do I want to lash out in rage, or do I want to break down and cry? Or do I just want to die? My mind... it's not working at all. As Jesus rose from her knees, her gaze, once lifted towards Dahlia, now looked down on her. Before a single thought could form, her body moved on instinct, reaching for her whip. But there is one thing I know for certain. I have to stop you here. We can talk after that. Yes, you're right. The only one who can stop me. Dahlia's sorrowful, almost tender gaze lifted to meet Jesus. Her expression was so gentle it was impossible to imagine she was the architect of this horrible scene. Is you, Soul? Soul? She echoed that name that had slipped from Dahlia's lips. As she repeated, a strange sensation welled up inside her, like a deep, long-buried nostalgia rising from the shadows of her soul. But not now. A strange, unplaceable nostalgia swept through Jesus. Out of nowhere, a presence stirred. In a blink, a figure appeared behind her and seized the nape of her neck. Oh my god, it's this guy. Girl, it's not a guy. But I just say guy to everybody. Then hurled her to the ground with a vicious lightning speed. Ugh! An empty syringe was already lodged in her neck, its contents spent. Her consciousness plunged into a heavy silence. Dahlia lifted Jesus into her arms and stepped outside the temple. Chase followed, emerging into the plaza. Bright red flames danced with wild abandon. They swallowed the world whole, showing no mercy as they consume every last trace of life. Chase felt it with searing clarity. The moment all existence collapsed into void, the breathless instant wherein every living soul turned to ash. She stood nearest to the anguished cries, of life that pierced the air, and in utter silence she drew a single breath and held it fast. This is the end of the world. I said it like a fucking Pokemon's. Even the tree of the sun, once hailed as a sacred blessing bestowed by God, had surrendered its radiant splendor, charred and blackened by merciless flames. The fiery embers, like countless burning stars, danced and flickered, their glow reflected in Chase's widening eyes. Though she had foreseen this dreadful spectacle, an unbidden cry rose in her throat, as if the air itself demanded a scream. What a wondrous, intoxicating vision this is! The abysses descended upon the mortal realm. Harold stood beneath the temple, arms flung wide as she embraced the despair of unfolding below. Amid the wreckage of the merciless hunt, her eyes gleamed with a rapture born in the heart of death. Chase clenched her fist, tearing her gaze away from the corrupted figure. Burn it. Her eyes, drawn unconsciously to Apep, met the sharp command directed at her. Burn the temple too. Though she was the architect of this hell, Apep's expression remained indifferent. The ruined wasteland meant nothing to her. Even faced with screams of death and a vision of apocalypse, the one who found joy and the one who felt nothing they were very evil. They are the very evil of this world. Beasts without a leash. No, serpents. The serpents of chaos destined to swallow the world whole. Looking down, Chase saw her feet trapped in a swamp of rotting mud. Ugh, the stench of rot, it's suffocating. The acrid scent of blood mingled with the stench of decay, a smell she had endured since childhood to the point of nausea, yet one she knew she would never grow used to. No matter how fiercely she struggled, the murky mire gurgled and dragged her deeper into the grasps. Oh, you heard of this game? I was hoping lesbians would kiss, and it hasn't happened yet. And I'm sad, but it got very dark very fast. It was already dark, but it got very dark very fast, and I'm like, wait a minute. Even those once said to be favored by God were denied salvation, reduced to charred remains sinking into the muddy depths without a trace. I knew it. There was never any God in this world after all. Cradling her gently, Dali laid Jesus down in a place untouched by the raging flames. She gazed fondly at Jesus' tranquil face, though despair fluttered like scattered pollen all around. This small sanctuary seemed filled with a quiet, almost sacred calm. A breeze tinged with the smoky scent of fire drifted through the strands of her golden hair. Those rippling waves became the only light illuminating the veiled night. Jesus, come find me, just as you did before. Brushing the hair from Jesus' sleeping face, Dali spoke softly. And don't keep me waiting too long. I've waited long enough. All right? Soul? What are you talking about? Why did you kill all these people? I'm so confused. You killed all these people. You killed all these people. What's it called? You drugged? What's the thing when they inject you and you die? Not die, you pass out. You drugged your supposed love, and then you're calling her a different name, and you've been like, what is happening? Feeling the warmth beneath her touch, Dali wore a tender smile, brimming with quiet affection. Huh? What? Okay, I'm only gonna read a little bit more, and then I'm gonna stop. Jesus, because I'm confused. I want to know what happened to Jesus. Jesus' body drifted as if on a boundless ocean, floating weightlessly within a vast white void. The strangest feeling, she was cradled within clouds, bathed in the gentle warm sunlight. Soul. A voice resonated simultaneously in her ears and mind. A voice, yet not truly a voice at all. A sacred sound reached her, demanding obedience, love, and awe. Okay, theory. What if this was like a parallel, kind of like the Truman Show? This was all, they're not real, like Ryan and the prophet and all that. They are not actually the real Ryan and prophet. but they because Jesus soul is like super important. They took her and they're like, we're gonna create this world and like make her seem like she's normal or whatever, It's like very Truman Show-esque. And then Dale, who stumbled into this world, she's like, this is very strange, and there's no way out of here. But if I kill everybody and try to get her out of here and maybe get her to the real people, and yes, you know what? That's what I'm going with for now. That's what I'm going with for now. If you understood, thanks. If not, I'm sorry. A sacred sound reached her, demanding obedience, love, and awe. Yes, mother. Her body moved of its own accord, defying her will, though her unconsciousness was perched within another form. No unease disturbed her, only a peaceful ease. Dost thou enjoy watching over a human so? Hearing Mother's question, Soul finally realized just how long she had been gazing down upon the world below. In the endless white expanse around her, a circular opening lay wide beneath her feet. Within that opening, which held all creation, tiny human figures moved busily like toys. Yes, I cannot tear my eyes away from them, living their fleeting moments. Soul brought her hand to her chest and found no heartbeat, for none existed, leaving that place devoid of any, even the faintest pulse. And in that stillness, calm like a windless desert, she sensed a warmth that should not exist. Wanting to linger in that illusion, or perhaps the sensation, a moment longer, Soul gently brushed her hand across her chest. Unlike thee, who art fashioned from mine own flesh, those creatures are but dolls shaped from mere clay, foolish and insignificant beings. In stark contrast to Soul, Mother turned away as though they deserved not even a passing glance. Yet no life fashioned by thy hands without worth, Mother. Brother, what are you talking about? Mother scoffed before gracefully stepping forth to settle herself upon a throne of flawless white. Fine words indeed, yet in this endless stretch of eternity, they have failed even to serve as a momentary diversion. With her chin resting upon her hand, Mother regarded humanity with a detached indifference. I have something to show thee. As she extended her hand towards the opening that illuminated the world below, a boundless blue ocean unfurled before them. Soul, look yonder. Following her fingertips, a solitary whale drifted through the waters. The dark whale floated alone, surrendering itself to the solemn sway of the waves. A soft smile arose on Soul's lips. The creature overflowed with life and freedom. Beautiful. She reached down, longing to touch the whale. Do not, my child. It is as wretched as a creature as the humans themselves. Why is that so? She asked, her lashes trembling, careful not to offend Mother. Soul was endearing in her caution. Mother allowed the faintest smile to grace her lips. That is a fragment of mine own flesh fallen when I created thee. It existed beyond my intent and thus drifts aimlessly through the world devoid of purpose. Hence, it is without worth. Without worth? She echoed Mother's words, yet her eyes remained fixed upon the beautiful creature, dancing in harmony with the sea. Does it have a wren as I do? Bothering her mother about something already dismissed as worthless might displease her. Soul, however, couldn't hold back the question. It has no wren, yet if I had bestowed one upon it, it would have been called Luna. Luna. She gazed down at the ebony whale, though as one who might have been given the wren called Luna. Time and again the whale would raise its sleek, glistening black back above the surface, exhale a gentle breath, then vanish beneath the waves. That repeating motion spanned hours, days, months, even years, yet no matter how long she watched, Soul never grew tired of it. Mother had called it a worthless creature, and yet Soul believed Luna to be more beautiful than anything else, a being brimming with pure, vibrant life. What might it be like to meet her? She found herself irresistibly captivated by Luna, who perhaps could have been her sister, and then her world, pale, faded, devoid of pulse, began to resonate with Luna, as though it had found its breath for the first time. Luna, my other half.
What?
I think that's a good place to leave it, though, but what?
Save.
Save. think that's a good place to leave it. But I'm confused. I'm a little confused because what? So much is happening. But that doesn't mean I have to play this game more, so I know what's gonna happen, because I do want to know what's happened. I want to know why Dolly did all those things. There must be a reason. She can't just be a murderer for no reason. You're right. Right? It would be different if it was another character, but it's supposed to be the love interest. Guys, it's supposed to be the love interest. Look at this image. Look at this photograph. I'm just pulling it up. Hold on. This was for the Lesbian Visibility Week. Look how cute. Look how kawaii. Look, I love them so much. I love them so much. So I'm so confused. Why would she do this? Anyways. Thanks so much for watching. I'll try to post a video tonight. And if not tonight, then tomorrow. And I'll try to post twice this for the weekend as well, because I feel bad for not posting for so long. But we'll see. And tomorrow I'm streaming Cobblemon, and then Sunday I might stream something. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Fuck my toggle. That's so cringe. Bye-bye.